everybody, to Warlord of SBAS plays Torment, Ties of Numenera, episode 40. Last time we did a little side questing to figure out about the ghost chick. We found one, couldn't find any others, so we decided and discovered that another person died, so we're going to discover who did that, because all evidence points to the cannibals that live in this place. So let's go in and see if we can find them.
All right, Ren, you can do this.
All right, go. There we go. Failing a task can lead to a more interesting result than if you had succeeded. It's true.
Why not? As you wish.
Bida, Mullet, Kwiki, Gazelle, Devourer of Wrongs. Interesting. So I know this person is the leader, so let's talk to them first. Bida. At first glance, it would be easy to assume that this man is dying of some wasting disease or starvation. He is little more than 2 tall, skeleton wrapped in a translucent flesh and a tattered robe, and hands are essentially bony claws. And he beams at you, his sunken eyes glittering with surprised laughter and feverish life. Tread carefully, dear, Clesta remembers. Bida is friendly enough, but he is also intelligent, frighteningly so. Do not try to lie to him. And Bida smiles, his teeth are muddy brown. I know you, he says. So many eyes have lingered on that tattoo. The noble brow. He reaches for your forehead with a shivering skeletal finger. Yeah, let him touch you. His fingertips trace a hot line over your tattoo. Yes, he says. Now I remember. Old Carissa once saw you out in the corner of her eye, a week before his accident. Elmore sold you a small bag of, he breathed, still closing his eyes, sugar-dusted almonds, but those aren't the only two. No, you drifted through countless lives, altering and ending them, never leaving a name. He draws it in his breath. Oh, I can't stand mysteries. Love them, but can't stand them. Who are you? I'm the Church of God, damn it. Nah, I'll tell the truth. I'm not the man you think I am. That was someone else. Invida says. The same face, the same tattoo, but yes, different eyes. Perhaps you have a secret twin. He coughs gently against the back of his hand. So what brings you to the chapel of the Dunder O'Hare? So he returns cast off. What happened this time, I wonder? Tell me about your cult. Let's discover about the area first. We worship the great Queen Selvan, Lady of Maggots, Goddess of Entropy, and Guardian Empty Bearer. He says, then pauses, tapping a muddy tooth thoughtfully. Although worship is the wrong word, perhaps. He points to the altar nearby. It displays a skull with a flat, unforgiving eyes buried in its hollow sockets. She awaits on the other side of death, with her billions of squirming children. They devour whatever passes into their realm, and rightfully so. Everyone must eat. His eyes twinkle fondly. But whatever she and her children eat is lost forever, and so the Dunder O'Hare work to preserve the minds and the mysteries of mortals before death claims them. We hold their thrill little thoughts in our minds, and let them tumble around as they will. He shivers. It feels marvelous. Tell me about yourself. Oh, Oh, there isn't much to tell. I haven't spent most of my years. I've spent most of my years in this little chapel, he says, casting a fond look around. The Dunder excuse me. The Dunder O'Hare have rather consumed my life. Consumed my. I'll have to remember that one. Oh, why did you join the Dunder O'Hare? Well, that is a good question. A very good question. I congratulate you on your asking it. He rubs his hands together with a proper sound, papery sound. I cannot tell you much. Outsiders are rarely understood what calls us to the Dunder O'Hare, but you have kind eyes, and so I will tell you what that it was kindness. Beyond that, however, I can't answer. My apologies. Yeah, I want to know more about what you've done to O'Hare. And I would love to tell you, he says, and it's clear that he would, but the full answer is rather tangled in the mysteries of our order, and simply cannot indulge you. Again, my apologies. Alright, talk about something else. A question about the Dunder O'Hare. Lovely, he says. This may surprise you, but we rarely get curious visitors. Most people seem quite nervous about us. Excuse me. He wets his cracked lips and waits your question well, with polite interest. What is the purpose of Dunder O'Hare again? Okay, no, we already know that answer. What does your cult's name mean again, anyway? The old man's eyes start from side to side and he leans in. Nobody knows, he whispers delighted. It's a mystery, isn't that wonderful? How long have the Dunder O'Hare existed? Centuries, he declares, though how many I couldn't say. We aren't devoted to paper records, as you might imagine. We prefer keeping them in our heads. He runs his tongue along the edge of his rotting teeth. Also, and this is slightly embarrassing, none of us managed to eat our founder. He simply disappeared one day. Can you imagine? Who founded your cult? A man named Mammoth Levern, he says and sighs. I do wish one of us had managed to eat him. How do you preserve humanity's knowledge? Oh, I thought everyone knew that, he says, surprised. We eat the flesh and organs of the corpse to assimilate their minds, then shows off, noticing your expression. What? I'm more interested in the process than their method. Ah, fellow scholar, he says. Well, it's quite simple and possibly complex at the same time. He points to various hoses and chambers adorning his robes. We do not chew or on the corpses, of course. That would be quite messy. And lethal, most likely. Humans are a disease bunch, and our suits liquefy dead flesh. Extracting the information contained within, then we feed upon this, or enriched flesh to become a part of us. At any rate, we scour the streets for bodies that are left unclaimed. We bring them here and lay them upon the biers. The sweeping hand directs our attention to the still shrouded figures lying about the chamber. When the body is ripe, when the body is ripe, then ripe with unplucked seekers, we gather about it and taste it together. Let a lifetime of thoughts flit around ours like little fish. He smacks his lips happily. Interesting. Oh, it is, he says. And dangerous, of course. It does drive us all the slightest bit mad. He purses his lips like he's giving away at naughty secret. But it's worth it, even so. Let's talk about something else. A sculptor told me that you people may have found a man killed by a strange creature. Yes, he says. I believe I know the poor man. dry as a leaf, hollow as an eggshell. Barely any mind left in there at all. He collects his son. Inspect me at your leisure. Inspect him at leisure. He's the one with the charred skin on his brow.
Making a note.
No, I don't know how much more about him. No, I don't know much more about him, he says, chuckling. Though I can assure you we plumped the depth of his mind and body for answers, but I seem to recall seeing him before, possibly not through my eyes, mind you, in Cliff's Edge, but he was coming out of a building near the clerical parlor. I'm helping Folsom investigate some trouble, and I'd be looking to ask you some questions. Of course, he says. And do tell Folsom hello for me. We are dear friends. He raises a finger. Well, he frowns more than a smile. But we do have a grand time whenever we meet. Which is often. Tell me about the turn on the end of the gate. The smile from it. The smile falls from Bido's face. Hope you're not asking for a lesson. I think you are. I hope you are not asking for the reason I think you are. He says. They began as a bunch of John hair that was more impatient in their appetites. His lip twitches like the memory of a snarl. Years ago, my sister and brother and I chased them from the city and erased their names from every record, or thought we had. Perhaps he says, turning troubled eyes on the acolytes. No. This is the first time I've spoken of the Endescape in years. They cannot possibly be involved. He takes a deep breath and smiles at you again. It's like watching a wrinkled sun emerge from the clouds. Could their twisted beliefs have somehow infected one of them? Impossible. I have evidence that Thunder O'Hare are involved. Can I speak with your acolytes? Oh my, he says. I suppose you have my permission. Do be gentle with them. He flushes his teeth at you. If they deserve it, of course. Do you think any Thunder O'Hare are capable of murder? Certainly not, he declares, then pauses. Well, they do come and go as they please, hunting for bodies left in the gutters like broken leaves. He smiles mistily up at the air as though reminded of his younger years. The Devourer of Wrong was standing vigil these last few days, but one of the others could be responsible, I suppose. He runs his eyes across them, humming a fretful little memory. Oh dear, he says. They really are a suspicious lot. Are they? Mallet enjoys hurting people. Petey tells her little lies, and well, she's quite unique. He seems as pleased at this as though he accomplishes her. Though he accomplishes her uniqueness himself. All in all, they are a horrifying bunch, aren't they? I really hadn't noticed before. Where were you when Folsom's protege was killed? He's excited. I have quite an amazing alibi. Is that how you say it? Alibi? He draws himself up and sets his jaw sternly like a sick caricature of justice itself. I was with Folsom the entire night. He can tell you so much. It may not have been entirely legal what we did, but it wasn't murder.
Making a note.
He leans in close to whisper in your ear. I promised Paulson I wouldn't tell anyone how he helps with things. You need to ask him if he wants to know more. He makes the stance back. So as you can see, I'm beyond suspicion. For one thing, the priest was already dead. Alright, done talking about that. Alright. So we just start talking to all of these cultists. Alright, my luck. This burly man sneers at you, flexing massive scarred hands that could easily encircle your throat. His tongue probes his stained, sharpened teeth, and a short blood-stained glove swings from his hook on his waist. So what you doing down here? Shield meat, he says, playing in the dark. He chuckles long and low. Tell me about the Donder O'Hare. Don't have to tell you anything, he says, snorting. Ain't one of us, you ain't nobody. Jerks his chin to him, bitter. You want a tour? Talk to him, I'm busy. Have you been here long? No, not long, he says. What sort of work did he do before? I broke stuff, he says. His eyes gleaming with dull humor. Not much for conversation, are you? Way I see it, he drawls, is I don't know you, you ain't done anything for me, and we got nothing to talk about. Not now, anyway. He crosses his arms, so why should we? You'll open up if we have something to talk about? Oh yeah, he snorts. You won't be able to shut me up. And Bida gave me permission to ask you about the murders. Is that right? He says, glancing at him. Bida, the leader of Don O'Hare, gives him a small nod. Yeah, all right, he says. Ask your questions. For all good it will do you. Do you know Weedle? Ha, he said. Yeah, I knew him. Glad to hear he's dead, he chuckles. He was smart, He was smart, and it. Always looking down on the rest of us. Always ordering people around. Was full, so looking on, smiling, he snorts. But if you're thinking of I chopped him, I didn't. I was getting drunk in the corner of the manufactory. He grins out nastily, wondering what all the screaming was about. Damn uppity leak nibbler! I shouldn't have been Folsom's man, not him. I should have been Folsom's man, not him.
Making a note.
You know who you should ask? He says, Kiwata. I saw her hunch over a hit. Some corpse in the alley all by herself. Doesn't matter that the meat is what the meat is. People who eat on their own always got something to hide. He nods at the other cultists. And Agaza's one to watch too. She ain't like you or me. She's a mutant. And not one of those nicer ones. And everyone eats on their own. Everyone gets something to hide. I want to talk about your eating habits. Is that right? He says, scratching one of his sharpened teeth. Not much of a mystery there. I eat people how I like it. He shrugs. If that doesn't answer your question, go on and ask. How many corpses have you eaten? Can't give you the exact number, he says. What's given to you. You hear? But at least one time at midnight I was out on my own and found a corpse lying beneath a stack of rusty metal. Someone just left him there to rot. He shakes his head. Maybe I'll go for another walk tonight, he muses. Can't help wondering what else I'll find hidden under things. Everyone eats on their own. That ain't no secret. Doesn't eating human flesh bother you? Bother? No. Bother ain't the right word. He rose his back of his neck. You think you're gonna mind the taste, but you don't. Part I don't like is the memories from the person you eat end up in your head. You can't make them shut up. The four of us ate a scholar, not a fancy one, but one with old robes. Kuwata was talking about some words she kept hearing after. He scowls. I don't get a word. I didn't get a word. I saw a memory of his when I was picking him out of my teeth. He was lying in bed, dying maybe, waiting for his son to come see him. His eyes kept closing, and the sun never came. That's sad. He shakes his head like a beast trying to dislodge a biting insect. Not that I saw anyway, and that's from just one meal. They get in my head, make me forget who's me. And Bida says it's getting easier, but why do you eat corpses if it troubles you so much? It doesn't trouble me, he growls, but his voice is shaking. It just ain't easy. But it'll get better. Look at him, Bida. He's been doing this a long time. Glance at Bida, elderly head of the Dundro Hairways, and gives you a huge rotten grin. At least he's a happy cannibal. That's something to say. Alright. Other questions. Tell me about what you think about other members of your family. Family, he repeats. Heh, good one. I trust my brother over this bunch, and he tried to cut my throat when I was 5. He collects his tongue. Go on, ask your question. What's your opinion on Bida? He's alright, Mela says. Got half the city scared of him. On the other half, bring him meat. Not bad for an old man who smiles at everyone. It never raises his voice. I hope to be half that fear when I'm done. More than half. What about Giza? Or whatever. Giza's a monster, he says, shaking his head. Less than human and more than a beast. I've seen her take a corpse face off with the side of those claws and tuck it into her mouth like a pan bread. Then it didn't stop until the body was gone down to the last drop of blood. He bits his upper lip, drawing ribbons of blood. Talk to Gazelle if you want. Figure her out, me? I keep my distance. How do you feel about Kawada? He opens his mouth to respond, closes his thinking. Something wrong with her, he says finally. And I ain't stupid. I know how that sounds coming from me. Just something broken in her. And it's always getting worse. I have some other questions. Yeah, what about? Do you know what? Have you heard of something called the Endless Gate? No, he says strange name though. If it don't end, it ain't much of a gate, is it? It's more of a hallway. Sure? Nope. Alright. Asking about the murder. Alright. See you later. So that's super crazy. That's just off and alright. Let's try this one. The woman watches you, measuring every step, every trip of her hands, and yet there's no fear in her. Iron lines on her spine and presses her mouth into a thin, even line. You take a wrong turn, she says, studying the nails in her right hand. Don't see many people down here for the light or the company. She steals a caustic glance at the hulking cultist nearby, and returns her gaze to you. You want something? How long have you been here? Long enough, she says. Though I'd found a place thought I found a place I belong. Guess I was wrong. She falls silent. Hey, how many false families until I find my true one? You don't feel like you belong here? She exhales, crossing her eyes shut. Never mind. I shouldn't have said anything. What's bothering you? Nothing, no offense, but I don't know you at all. Leave me alone, alright? Alright, I'll make it even more awkward. Let's talk about the murders. Yeah, she says, looking over at the old man. She nods. Good. Have to say I'm not surprised that murder's trail led you in here. What do you want to know? Mela says he caught you eating corpus in your own. Yeah, maybe. Well, it shouldn't mind his business, she says, shouting an angry look at the hulking cultist. Sure, it's true. I don't like being down here more than I have to. Alright. I barely even sleep anymore. Keep getting the feeling that they're waiting for me to die. Wondering what I'd taste like.
Making a note.
Not too long ago, I found a corpse in the alley near a circus minder, and I didn't see why I shouldn't have it share it with this lot. She drags her finger through her hair. That's it, no secret, no scandal. And since Mallet thinks he share my hunting with strangers, maybe you should ask him how many corpses he's found on his own, or if they were actually dead when he found them. Mallet's killed and eaten. I'm sure of it. Probably they all do. Do you have any idea who the murderer is?
I'll remember that.
No, she says, resting her hands on her hips. But I've seen that they left behind a Folsom boy. A mess. Blood on the walls and floor. No body. She flicks a strand of hair out of her eyes. That's the kind of death you see when someone's sending a warning or holding a grudge. I saw it all the time before I came here. The circle's not a warning, it's a sign. Why do you think someone killed Folsom protege? Why, she says. She says with something approaching a grin. Why is there... This is someone Folsom cared about. He has a lot of enemies. What do you think? I want to know opinions of other Donna O'Hare? She said, alright. Don't expect me to hold back. How about Obita? He's lived too long, he says. Maybe the Dondra O'Hare were something once, but he's just looking for the next meal now, and the rest of them are following his example. What about Mallet? He likes hurting people more than that. He's proud of it. She runs an angry hand through her hair and lowers her voice. I'm not sure, but I think he's been killing rivals from his old life and eating them. I know he killed. He probably ate too. Why shouldn't he? How about Gizzy? She used to be worse than she is. If you haven't talked to her yet, see what I mean. She glances at it uneasily. Maybe all those corpses she's eaten on her own are bringing scissors into her head. Civilizing her, maybe. She shakes her head, but that just means she's a predator who knows the mind of her prey. She's a monster. Certainly, she's a murderer too. Certainly, she's murdered to eat. Why wouldn't she? Other questions? I bet, she says. Alright. Do you know anything about the Endless Gate? No, she says, never heard of them. Are you sure? She shakes her head, looking confused. Good, she says. Yeah, just make sure. Alright. We'll end the episode here and continue talking to these cannibals next time. So until next time, remember, embracing chaos, or you'll go mad. Bye.